Hi, I'm Stu from Hive Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, I'd like to introduce you to our new robot vacuum cleaner. This is the EcoVacs DeeBot T10 Plus. We'll talk a little bit about the reasons that we replaced the old robot vacuum, and we've got an unboxing of the unit, and we'll also discuss the good and the bad things that we've found with this EcoVacs DeeBot T10 in the week that we've had it. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe? If you hit the bell icon, you'll also get notified when I release new videos each week. And while you're at it, you'll find some links in the video description to support the channel through affiliate links for smart home gadgets you can get for your smart home, or directly supporting the channel using my Buy Me a Coffee link. Affiliate links and the Buy Me a Coffee link are also available on my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So a bit over 2 years ago, I reviewed our Kogan Smarter Home LX10 robot vacuum cleaner with mopping function. And while Murphy has continued to work well over the last 2 and a bit years, there's some frustrating bugs that have started to stack up. The key problems we've had with Murphy over the last 2 years are there's a need to do some pre-cleaning before running Murphy to make sure that he doesn't gobble up things like cat toys, cables, or shoelaces. We don't actually trust Murphy to run when we're not at home and able to monitor him, so we tend not to run him on a schedule. And roughly every 2 weeks, Murphy falls off the Wi-Fi and needs to be repaired. And sometimes this means that he completely forgets the map of the house and needs to completely remap the house. And other times he just forgets the restricted areas that we've defined and don't want him to clean, like the home office here. The 2-year integration for Murphy into Home Assistant provides little to no useful data or controls for Murphy. And while this list is not exhaustive and individually none of these issues would be deal breakers, except maybe for falling off the Wi-Fi periodically, combined, these issues do make for an overall pretty poor experience. So we did start looking for a replacement a couple of months ago, and last week we finally made the decision on the EcoVacs DeeBot T10 Plus. We got it on sale for $10.99 with an accessory kit for an extra $80 direct from EcoVacs using the coupon code on the product page, down from $1,799. And at the time of writing this video, it was available on Amazon for $1,549 with a $450 coupon to bring it down to $1,099, the same as on the EcoVacs website, without an accessory kit, but accessory kits are available. And I'll put an affiliate link in the video description for those of you that are interested. I'll mention that on Amazon, it's also available with Prime 1-day shipping, so you can get it nice and fast if you want it. So while it's not exactly cheap at over $1,000 on sale, there's some features that made it, at least for us, a compelling value proposition. The most obvious of them right off the bat is the charging station is also an emptying station with a 3.2 litre capacity dust bag that empties the onboard dustbin when it gets full, allowing the robot to run on a schedule and be more or less set and forget until you get an alert from the app that the bag needs emptying. Our original robot vacuum doesn't alert you at all when the dustbin gets full, and it keeps cleaning even if it's started to overflow, leaving tufts of dusty cat fur in its wake. Like the Kogan, the DeeBot T10 Plus also has microfiber mopping pad attachments with a water tank that attaches to the back of the robot, much like the Kogan LX10, but the DeeBot mopping pad does have an oscillating function to actually scrub hard surfaces, and because you don't have to remove the dustbin, only what's referred to as the air freshener at the back of the unit to use the mopping function, you can also vacuum up debris while mopping. Now, speaking of the air freshener compartment, the DeeBot ships with a little air freshener cartridge to leave a subtle but pleasant scent as it vacuums your house. It's certainly not what I would consider a compelling feature, but it's a nice touch and very thoughtful. Back to the more compelling feature set though, and the EcoVacs website states that the T10 Plus has advanced AI-based obstacle avoidance technology, and the marketing materials show that it uses this AI tech to avoid things like slippers and shoes, cables, and other objects like clothes or things that have been dropped on the floor. Now, this is exciting for us because with cat toys and other cables around the house, there's now, at least theoretically, less preparation work to be done before unleashing the robot. That said, though, the AI object detection seems to need good lighting in order to do the object detection, and it has managed to get itself tangled around one cable and one weasel on a string cat toy. Now we know the limitations, we do take those into account. That said, I have also observed the robot detecting and avoiding the cat. So it's definitely able to detect and avoid some things. Now, to enable the AI obstacle detection, the DeeBot T10 Plus has an onboard camera. The camera does double duty and enables their home monitoring functionality, which allows you to remote control the robot to, say, check on a triggered alarm or make sure that your pet isn't getting up to too much mischief. An onboard speaker and microphone allows for two-way communication, and the onboard microphone also enables the Yeeko voice assistant, allowing you to use voice commands directly with the DeeBot to start cleaning cycles, etc. I'll talk a little bit more about the Yeeko voice assistant near the end of the video though. The robot also features quick mapping to map your home in minutes, label rooms, set up boundaries, and view a 3D representation of the maps, where you can then place furniture into the 3D map, tap on that furniture, and the robot will clean around it. The website also claims an extra long run time of up to 260 minutes on a single charge, and if it gets below 15%, it will return to the empty station to charge up, and it'll resume cleaning automatically when it's charged above 90%. The other important consideration that we did make was regarding the Home Assistant integration. Now, while there is a native EcoVacs integration, the bad news here is that the community forums suggest that it's not very good. It may not support the DeeBot T10 Plus, and from what I can see, it hasn't really been actively developed for some time. The good news, though, is that there's a HACS custom component called DeeBot for Home Assistant, which solves the compatibility issue and provides more sensors and controls than the native integration does. We will get to the integration a little bit later. So being that we got the vacuum a week ago, I've already unboxed it and we've been using it. So I filmed the unboxing and first impressions along with the initial setup and pairing process already. So let's take a look at the unboxing and initial pairing now. Okay, so included in the pack that we got a box of EcoVacs DeeBot dust bags. We got two boxes with 3 pieces each of the EcoVacs DeeBot washable mopping pads. And we got a DeeBot Buddy Kit, the accessory value pack, which looks like it has some filters, some cleaning brushes, etc. So dual side brushes, floating main brush, and 3 sets of filters. So I won't worry about those, but what we'll do is we will open up the main box and see what's inside. So I'll just cut the tape on the edges here. So on the top, we've got a quick start guide that says, thank you for choosing DeeBot and follow the steps to get started. So remove the protectors, install the dual side brushes, connect the power cord and place the dust container, assemble the base, power on, charge, scan the QR code to download the EcoVacs Home app, and then open the app. Use the in-app scanner to scan the QR code up under the cover to add your robot. Follow on-screen instructions within the app to finish the setup, and then start cleaning and create a map of your home. So there's not much else on that card. Let's start with the smaller of the two big boxes in here, and we'll take that out. I'll move that big box back. So this is the DeeBot T10 Plus, the unit itself, and we can open up this box and live smart, enjoy life, it says there. We'll lift up that, and inside here we've got some accessories. So we've got a mopping pad there. This is another disposable mopping pad. This mopping pad is velcroed to the mopping attachment there. Got a limited warranty booklet there as well. Wild Bluebell air freshener capsule. That's interesting. I didn't realize there was an air freshener capsule in here. Pop out the mop attachment. So there's the tank for the mop attachment as well. You can see that's pretty large tank there. We've got our power cord here, which is a 2-pin IEC power cord. So 2-pin jug plug basically, which is a little bit strange that to not have the ground pin on that connector. Pull out some more of this packaging. Can take this top box out, in fact, and underneath here is the DeeBot itself. So you can see the camera and what I'm assuming is an infrared emitter there on the front of the DeeBot. That's the AI vision camera there. It still has what appears to be a LiDAR array up the top here as well, which is kind of good to see, and infrared detectors on the sides, and the charging connectors on the back. If we pop out there, this appears to be our filter and possibly dustbin attachment here. It seems pretty small for a dustbin attachment, but that would be where our water attachment with the mop function goes if we were doing mopping. So we can unclip that. And underneath it's got the standard drive functionality that we would expect. The two brushes we haven't installed yet, but that's okay. And then that central brush which is attached, and that's all looking as you would expect, and that's all replaceable, which is good to see. Okay, so we've looked at the robot itself. So now I'll grab the much bigger of the two boxes out. We'll open that up, and we need to go in from the top here. Okay, so there's a small section at the back here, I think comes out first by the looks of things, or it's supposed to. Yeah, so that appears to be the base plate for the charging and bagging dock. And inside here, we'll take this packing material off the top. We should be able to lift out the base station. Okay, so here's the base station. If I little base plate here, should be able to take a look at how it looks when it's in place. So there's this little roller here, presumably to help it line up the charging pads there. And there's a port here at the front, which I'm going to assume is where it sucks the dust and things into the insides. Opening up the lid of the unit. Must be accessory storage or something there. And then we have our bagging section over here on the right. So inside the bagging housing, we've got this fan here, which presumably, or this fan grill, which is presumably for applying enough suction to then suck the dust out of the robot through that port there. So I can just take this and insert. So a nice little design feature with the vacuum bag is when we pull this cardboard tab when we're done, it will seal off the hole so that we don't have dust fall out everywhere, which is a nice touch. So that is what the EcoVacs DeeBot T10 Plus looks like when it is in its little garage docking station. So what I'm going to do over on my iPhone here is scan the QR code, and that's going to take me to ecovacs.com, which is then going to spit me out into the EcoVacs Home app, which has a 3.8 star rating from 2,100, and there's some screenshots from it there, and a little bit of feedback. Apparently someone said that the maps could be better, but that's all fine. We'll tap get and install that, and I'll authorize that to install. And it's installed, so we'll tap open. And it would like to find and connect devices on my local network. I will allow that. And it would like to send me notifications. I'll allow that as well. So it says, hello, welcome to using the products and services of EcoVacs Home. Please select the region and language. Australia and English look good to me. We'll tap next. We've got a user agreement, and it's requiring us to hold for a few seconds before it loads the user agreement. It tells us things like the effective date, the effectiveness of the agreement, the account and password details, and we can pretty much either agree and continue, or we can refuse and exit. So it doesn't look like there's anything in there too concerning. I'll just tap agree and continue. We've got our privacy policy, so it tells us how it collects and uses our personal information, cookie technology, beacon technology. So we'll scroll all the way to the bottom and we'll tap agree and continue. And now we need to sign into an EcoVacs account. So we're going to need to register for this account because we don't have one yet. Now, I'm not going to film registration of the EcoVacs account just for privacy reasons, but the process should be fairly straightforward. Okay, and we're going to use the strong password that it has created for me, and I'm going to register for that account. Registration successful, and I'm going to save the password in my passwords on my phone here, and we'll change this from my home. We'll change this to the Hive, and we'll tap enter now. And now we've got the option to add a new EcoVacs robot. So I'll click add, and it's asking for access to the camera. So I'll tap OK, and it's asking for Bluetooth. So I'll tap OK, and now it says point your smartphone's camera at the QR code. Now underneath the lid of the robot, we have the QR code down in the back section there, and it's asking me to enable location services. I'll hit got it, and we'll allow while using the app, and we can put that back. And now it's asking for the QR code again, so we need to scan that. Okay, now it wants me to connect to the home Wi-Fi. I want to connect this to the HiveMind IoT network because I have some work in the future to kind of secure my network a little bit better. And anything that's connected to the HiveMind IoT network will not have too much access inside my home network here. So I'll swap to HiveMind IoT, pop back over here, and we'll enter the password for that. and we'll hide that password. And it says make sure the connected home Wi-Fi network is a 2.4 gigahertz or 2.4 or 5 gigahertz mixed network. So HiveMind IoT is 2.4 gigahertz only. So we'll tap done and we'll tap next. And it says remove the DeeBot top cover, switch on your DeeBot and wait until a startup sound is played. We've already switched on the DeeBot, so we can tick that box and go next. Now it says briefly press the reset button for 1 second and then release. So I'll take that off and I'll go 1. And we released and ready for network setup. We can tap I've heard the sound and tap next. And we'll tap yes on that. And we now get prompted to join the EcoVacs network that it has created. So we'll tap join. So it's connected to the hotspot created by the Vacuu. And it's sending us back to the app and it's connected to the robot to the phone, about 52%. It's asking not to send the app to the background because it needs focus to work. And now we can name our robot. Now, because this is going to be replacing Murphy, and we kind of like the name Murphy, we're going to name this one Murphy 2.0. And we'll go next. So our time zone and language for Murphy, we're going GMT plus 10, that's right. And English, we don't need to change anything. We'll tap enter. And it says our firmware version is too low to please update. So it's currently on 1.5.7. Latest version is 1.7.2 and there's bug fixes and enhancements. So we will let it update the firmware there. Okay, the following operations are required before updating. It says charging, and I'm going to turn on automatic update, which is going to automatically update between midnight and 6 a.m. And then I can tap return to station. So it's returning now to the station. So it should back up into the station there, and there it is. So it's starting to charge. And we've got our interface here. So we'll go through the interface a little bit later. So something I will say is that this app looks an awful lot like the Tuya app, which is interesting. I'm hoping that we'll get much better integration with Home Assistant. Okay, so now that we've tried to enter the video manager, it's prompting us again for the firmware update being too low. And now because it's in the charging dock, we should be able to tap update and it should. There we go. So it just said updating firmware, please do not power off. And it is downloading the firmware on the phone here. Okay, so we just got the boot up sound again, which I'm guessing means that the firmware install has completed. It still says 99% on the phone, and it just told me update successful, updated to the latest version 1.7.2. So we've got Murphy 2.0, we're all up to date. Okay, so all that's left to do now is to let it loose to map the house. Okay, so with the robot paired, let's take a look at the native app and what we can do with it. I'll open up EcoVacs on my iPhone here. And we've got a little advertisement on the front page. And now we are on the home page. We've got the Hive, which is our home name in the top left corner. And we've got Murphy 2.0 on screen here. Now, I will say that I'm not a huge fan of this native app. The design looks an awful lot like Tuya, and the UX is not what I'd call intuitive or user-friendly. To demonstrate that, I'm looking at either enter smart cleaning, enter video manager. I've got auto cleaning and return to recharge. And this drop down next to Murphy 2.0 doesn't really give me much in the way of settings. If I tap on the speech bubble in the top right hand corner, we just get messages to view things like the cleaning log, service notifications, etc. And the 3-dot kebab menu there is just about message settings. Backing out, we can scroll to the right, and again, it's asking us to just add a new EcoVacs robot. Tapping this logo in the top right, just to the right of Murphy 2.0 here, just kind of takes us to something about the Yico Smart Assistant that just tells you about how to use it, and it doesn't really tell you much useful there. So it took me a while to figure out where to find the settings for both the cleaning and the video manager, and you actually have to go into enter smart cleaning to find the settings, which is just plain strange to me. Now, you can see here that we've got our home map, and you can see in the top left-hand corner of the map there is the black circle where the robot is on its charging station and sleeping away there. And you'll see that we've got the different zones are different colors, and we can enter the 3D map mode here. And I'll just close that. That's just the user experience improvement plan. I'll just close that out, and I'll just tap on the 3D map again. And it's just downloading the 3D map, which might take a moment. And it's saying, give a try to OK Eco, clean under the bed. I'm not going to do that. But now we have our 3D map. And if we zoom in, you can see that it has located things like the bed. There's a bureau there. There's the washing machine. It's even marked a toilet where the toilets are there. And you can see the charge station or the emptying station there in the corner there, which is pretty much how it's laid out. And the other interesting thing here with the 3D map is you'll see that these yellow rugs are there, and it actually does detect them automatically, and everything else where we see the floorboards, those are hard surfaces, or it does differentiate between the tiled surface, the laundry, but it doesn't seem to have figured that out in the main bathroom or in the water closet there, or even in the ensuite there. It's showing carpet in the ensuite, which is certainly not the case and would be rather disgusting if you ask me. I do like the 3D map here. You can see furniture area cleaning is in the bottom right, and we can select a furniture area, and DeeBot will clean under and around it. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'm just going to back out here. But to the point that I had before, we want to take a look at the settings. So we've got this kind of bolt head in the top right hand corner, and we can see the settings. There's things like the Eco Voice Assistant, cleaning log, accessories and parts, smart cleaning, and we can see settings for scrubbing intensity is either gentle, daily or strong. We've got a pad cleaning reminder, auto empty. So the auto empty, if we tap on the question mark, there's 10 minutes suitable for complex environments with pets, multiple carpets, 15 minutes suitable for environments with lots of dust, debris, etc. 25 minutes suitable for relatively clean environments, and auto. And the DeeBot will automatically return to the station to empty dust after cleaning. It doesn't want to accept turning on auto empty, so that's interesting. There's resumed clean as well, so when enabled, DeeBot will continue with unfinished tasks after it's fully charged. There's also auto boost suction, so when vacuuming, the DeeBot will automatically activate maximum vacuum power when detecting carpet. And there's the AIV-i3, the DeeBot will automatically identify and avoid obstacles when cleaning. So that does need to be turned on in order for it to avoid obstacles. We've got an area unit of either square meters or square feet. Obviously, here in Australia, we're going to use square meters. I'll back out there. We've got the video manager settings here, and you can set a video password and you can change that password. I would recommend that. If you are sharing EcoVacs or the DeeBot with another user in your household, you do need to have a video password enabled for them to be able to access the video manager function. You can turn on do not disturb. So when it's in do not disturb, any scheduled cleaning and the microphone and the light will be disabled. And there's about the DeeBot and about the station, and there's a product improvement program there and a help button. So you can see there's a fair amount of detail that you can get there, and there's even this Find My DeeBot button, which when we press it, it just says I'm here. So we can back out of the settings there. We can look at the map display and we can see area, color, layout, area name, etc. We can tap on the video camera and it's asking us for the video password, which I'll enter. And then we have to rotate our phone and it takes a moment to connect. And I will mention that I've had some trouble connecting to this on 5G and it's just said manual recording started. So you can see here that we've got the view from the DeeBot there. If I back out there, just down the bottom here in cleaning settings, we've got our map management, we've got an empty dust function. We can do area cleaning, so we can select an area to clean, or we can do custom cleaning and then just kind of outline an area that we want the DeeBot to clean, or we can just do auto. Again, scrolling up, we've got standard, customized, so the DeeBot will clean according to the settings for each area, which is that customize function. You can customize each room, so you can see area preference, and we can tap on the edit button there and change preferences. So for example, I can set the suction power to strong or even maximum for say the bedroom, and you can also change the water flow level if that is a mopping area. Let's put the bedroom to strong. So I'll just save that change. There's also cleaning sequence, so you can set the cleaning sequence according to your home environment. So tap the areas to according to the cleaning sequence. So we could go say corridor, kitchen, and then lounge, and it would clean in that order 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we can set these different this kind of different order of operations. I'll just reset that and we'll cancel anything there. So then we've got smart cleaning, set scrubbing intensity, continuous cleaning, etc. So if we go into here, but these are all the same settings we saw in the settings before. So things like our scrubbing intensity, our auto empty, etc. We can do scheduled cleaning in here, so we can add a schedule. I'll just cancel that. And we've also got our language, which is English Australian, and we've got our volume settings here, so we can turn the volume down or up. In more settings, if we download that, we go back to the same settings we saw before with the Eco Voice Assistant, the cleaning log, accessories and parts, etc. So in that bolt head menu in that top right hand corner there. So that's the smart cleaning page. If I go into the Enter Video Manager page, we get asked for our passcode again, and we'll be made to rotate our phone. And it said video recording started. So now we've got a few more functions inside here, including home patrol. We've got a voice call. So I can tap a voice call and it's going to start a call, the robot, and I can actually hear that over in the corner there. I'll just end that call. We've got arrival on command, so I can tap somewhere and I can send the robot there. So we have to tap arrival on command. It'll open the map, and then we can flag somewhere where we want the robot to go to. We also have a home patrol button, and that's actually going to start the robot running around the house, just kind of patrolling a little bit in case you maybe wanted to use that as a bit of a peace of mind of security there. I'm just going to tap return to station in the bottom right hand corner though, and we'll just go end now just to get that to turn back, and you can see me there. We've also got a recording, so we can start a video recording there, and when we stop it, we get a preview of that, and we can save it or discard it. We also have a camera button here, so we can take a still photo, say a cat's doing something cute, or a child or something like that, we can do some stuff there, and we can then go in and see our photos and video in the photo gallery there. So photos and video, and then we can download those to our local device. We have this sun button here. We've got things like a light reminder or a voice reminder for the video recording status. At the moment, we've got the light reminder, and that is the LED on the front of the unit that I, during the unboxing, thought was an infrared emitter, but it's not. It's just an LED. And then we've got our kebab menu here, and we can do things like a scheduled patrol. And we can change our language, our volume, and then there's more settings here, which takes us back to a portrait orientation, and we see the same settings that we saw in the cleaning menu. So if I back out, and we'll tap the X in the top right hand corner, and we just got a whole bunch of the voice, the backed up voice prompts there, which is a little bit odd. But there you go, that is the native app. We've also got things like store and mine down the bottom here. Those are not particularly useful. It's things like your account. So you can view your orders, you can order accessories. There's third-party voice control where you can handle the pairing back to Amazon Alexa, Google Home, or Siri shortcuts, which is helpful, I guess. And there's some settings for your home as well. So you can change things like the region, the language. There's some others here about message settings and recommended settings. And there's account and security. So you can change the password or cancel the account. And you've also got an EcoVacs ID there. If you are using a Chinese server, apparently you need the EcoVacs ID when you are setting up the Home Assistant HACS integration there. So as you see with the native app, it does look a little bit like the Tuya app, but now that we've covered that off, we can take a look at getting the DeeBot into Home Assistant using the HACS DeeBot for Home Assistant custom component. So to start off with, if we head over to our demo instance of Home Assistant, the first thing that we need to make sure is that we've got the HACS component installed. Now, this is not the topic of this video, but I have covered it before. So if you don't already have HACS installed, check out one of those videos, and I'll put a link in the description, and I'll put a card up in the top left, top right, wherever it is. So provided you've got HACS installed, you can just go to HACS, and then we can go to integrations. And we've got a couple of updates here. But what I'll do is I'll go to explore and download repositories, and I'll just clear out that search, and I'm going to search for DeeBot. And you see we've got this DeeBot for Home Assistant. So I'll click on that, and we'll take a look at what it's telling us about this integration. You'll see that with this custom component, we should be able to play, pause, locate, send to home, either do auto map or area cleaning, track the live map, sensors, and allegedly much, much more. There's some links to documentation, an FAQ, a GitHub, and also buy me a beer for this particular developer. But we'll just click on download, and we can show beta versions as well. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it at the latest, and we'll tap download there. Now I've also got the DeeBot for Home Assistant documentation page open here. We're going to need that a little bit later on. Okay, so now with DeeBot for Home Assistant installed, I've also updated the other two custom components that we have here that needed the update. I'm going to go to Developer Tools. I'm just going to click on Check Configuration to make sure that my configuration won't prevent Home Assistant from starting. I'm going to click Restart and restart Home Assistant, and then we just need to wait for Home Assistant to restart before we can then set up our DeeBot for Home Assistant integration. Okay, so Home Assistant has restarted, and I'll go now over to my settings, and then I'll go to devices and services, go to add integration. I'm going to search for DeeBot for Home Assistant. And it says, please wait, starting configuration wizard for DeeBot. Now, once it's taken a couple of moments to figure that out, we've got DeeBot for Home Assistant. Please select Bumper only if you have a working Bumper instance already. Otherwise, select Cloud, please. I don't actually know what they mean by Bumper, so I'm just going to go with Cloud. It is the recommended setting anyway. So I'll hit Submit on Cloud. And now we are asked to enter our username and password for the EcoVacs Cloud account. And there's also a 2-character continent code that we need to enter here. So I'm going to fill in each of these and blur out the sensitive information, obviously. And for country, for me, it's fairly easy. It's AU. Continent is a little bit harder for me. We are in Oceania, so theoretically this would be OC. So with that data entered, we should be able to hit submit, but I did run into a little bit of a problem here. So when I hit submit, we got can't connect to the EcoVacs API and to please check the logs. Now there's 2 parts to this problem. Initially, the password generated by my Apple Password Manager on my phone when I created the EcoVacs account included dashes to make it longer and theoretically more secure. But the custom HACS integration for some reason doesn't seem to be able to handle dashes in the password. So I ended up having to reset my password to something that is technically a little bit less secure. Now, the other thing I've discovered here when I set this up on my production server and also here, as you can see, it can't connect to the EcoVacs API, and this is with the password that doesn't have the dashes. We get this error, and it took me a few goes to figure out what was causing it. If you do enter your correct continent and it doesn't work, the documentation for the DeeBot for HACS integration does suggest that if your continent code is not working, to please fall back to WW, which presumably means worldwide. So we'll head back here, we'll change our continent to WW, and I'll paste my password in here again, and we'll hit submit again, and it's working better now. So then we get a list of our devices. I only have one, but if you had more than one, you would be able to select more than one. Put a tick next to Murphy 2.0 and I'll tap submit. And once we've submitted that, we'll get asked for an area for Murphy 2.0. So we'll put Murphy in the lounge, and we've got DeeBot T10 plus EcoVacs, and I can click on finish. So with the DeeBot for Home Assistant integration completed, we now see we've got DeeBot for Home Assistant here, and we've got one device. And if I click on that one device, we can drill in and we see the details of our DeeBot. So as you can see in the device details here, we've got this Murphy 2.0, and if we open that up, we've got a bunch of controls in here. We've got our charge state here, so our sensor is coming through nicely with the charge state. Got a button for starting to clean. We've got play, pause, stop. We've got locate and send home. So go and put this microphone over on Murphy 2.0. So start cleaning does what it says on the box. Play, pause, and stop also do what they say on the box. This locate button, now that we've got a microphone over on Murphy 2.0, if I click this button,
I'm here.
It says I'm here. So you can locate it in case it's hiding under furniture and gotten stuck or something like that.
I'm here.
And we've got the return home button here, which it's already docked, but
I am in the station.
it says I am in the station. We can change our fan speed between quiet, normal, max, and max plus. So that is the suction, I assume. And we see the current setting, which is max. If we open up attributes, we actually get some interesting information in here. So we've got our last error, and at the moment we've got no error. Robot is operational, but we also get this attribute of rooms, and we've got this array of dictionaries where we've got lounge is 0, corridor is 2, And then we've got this bathroom, which then has a list of 12, 16, and 14. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense until you look at the native map and you see we've got bathroom 1, bathroom 2, and bathroom 3. So what this actually is, this is a mapping of the rooms to the room number on the system. And we need this information a bit later on when we're sending a command to the robot to clean a specific room. So if I wanted to clean bathroom 2, I need to send it the number of that bathroom. Now, in my case, I believe bathroom 2 is number 14, but for whatever reason, it's showing 16 in that second point in that list. So it's a little bit hard to understand sometimes. And then we see the same thing with bedroom. We've got on our map, we've got bedroom 1 and bedroom 2. And in here, we've got number 10 and number 13. So the rooms just are allocated a number in the system. So when it's referring to a map, we need to choose a number from either 0 to 15 or 16, sorry, we've got is the highest number in there to then make a choice of what room we're going to clean in that. And we can also add a list to rooms, but we'll take a look at some of that stuff a bit later. The other thing that we see here is that we've got a lot of stuff not shown. So we've got sensors not shown. That includes things like a live map, last cleaning, etc. And we've also got some diagnostics here, things like relocate, mop attached, last error, lifespan, brush, etc. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to this DeeBot for Home Assistant, and you'll see we've got one device but 26 entities. If I click on the 26 entities, you'll see that we've got this status and a whole bunch of them are disabled. I'm going to tick the box here down next to all of the ones that are not enabled. Okay, I think that's everything that's not enabled, and I'm just going to tap enable selected. Do you want to enable 21 entities? Yes, I do. I've enabled that. It's going to take about 30 seconds. So while we're waiting for that, we'll head back to our one device and we'll give that a second to update. Okay, great. So we see all of those sensor details are starting to stream in, and we can see now that we've got some data here. So we've got things like our total area cleaned statistics, our total number of cleanings, total cleaning time. The last commands that were sent to it was a patrol. Last cleaning is unknown. Our configuration, we've got advanced mode, carpet auto fan speed boost, cleaning count, so we can change the number of cleanings that we want to run, clean preference, continuous cleaning, lifespan brush reset, lifespan filter reset, and lifespan side brush reset. True detect, we can change our volume and we can change the volume of water used in a mopping. And for diagnostics, we've got things like our brush lifespan, our filter lifespan, and our side brush lifespan, and whether or not the mop is attached, and we've got the relocate button there as well. So the live map actually shows up as a camera, and unfortunately, it seems that it's not very well done. I'm not sure where this data is coming from. I believe it's on board the robot itself, rather than the cloud map data, which it's just a little bit odd that it's pretty poorly defined. And from what I've seen in our production instance, this continues to be pretty poorly defined until you actually run a full cleaning with this connected. So now that we've got all of this data into Home Assistant, it would be kind of nice to be able to see and interact with it on one of our Home Assistant dashboards. Now, the first hurdle there is that we don't really have a good vacuum card by default in Home Assistant. So I'm going to go over to HACS here and I'm going to go to front end and I'm just going to go and explore and download repositories. And I want to clear that out. I'm going to search for vacuum. And we've got this vacuum card, vacuum cleaner card for Home Assistant in the Lovelace UI. So I will tap that and we'll download and install that. And you can kind of see a little bit about how that looks. We've got the vacuum and the filter and the side brush, main brush, sensors, etc. It says we need to reload the browser for the update resources to be used. Do you want to do that now? I'll do that. So now that we've reloaded with those cards installed, I can go over to my demo dashboard here and I can tap the three dot stack and click edit dashboard, and I'm going to add a card. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to use custom vacuum card. So now that we've got this card configuration, I'm going to tap on show code editor, and I'm going to go over to, we've got this simple UI configuration. There's the advanced UI. I want to go for the simple UI, and I'm going to grab the code from image down, and it kind of gives you an idea of what the end result should look like. But I'll head back over to demo, and I'm just going to paste the rest of that code in there. But I'm going to grab this Murphy 2.0 here, and I need to change some of these stats details here. So I'm going to go Murphy 2.0, and what have we got? We've got side, so lifespan side brush. We've got Murphy 2.0 underscore lifespan brush, and we'll go Murphy 2.0 lifespan filter. And I'm just going to change this subtitle to filter. I don't know what heap means. I don't know why they're putting that in there. So we've also got our cleaning. So we will put in Murphy 2.0 stats area was the area. The unit is meters squared, which is correct. And then we've got our stats time. So put that in, and then stats time, stats area and stats time. So we should get some pretty decent data here, and it kind of shows you more or less what it thinks it's going to look like, which is not correct. I'll leave these shortcuts alone for now. We'll get to that a bit later. But what I do need to do is grab Murphy 2.0 again, and we just need to update this robot name here to Murphy 2.0 to get the live map. And if I save that now, a bit of an error in our entity ID there. So we've fixed that, and we can save that now. So we get our live map that I mentioned before I didn't particularly like. I'll just zoom out a little bit more so you can see our fan setting there, which is max, and we can tap on that and change it. And we've got our battery state, and we can click on that and we get the details of Murphy 2. And we've got our play button here to start a cleaning. Let me tap done there to make the UI a bit better. So we've got our play button here to start a clean, and I can click on locate vacuum, and we get I'm here. And we can click and view the live map as well. And we've got these three shortcuts down in the bottom right, which at the moment won't work because we haven't assigned any scripts to them. But that is an example of how we can set this up. If we go back to the documentation, there's also this advanced configuration, as I mentioned before. Okay, so now that we've got this card set up, obviously these shortcut buttons at the bottom right, they're not going to do anything for us. So let's fix that. We'll create some scripts in order to clean specific rooms. Now, at the moment, those scripts don't exist, so we're going to have to create at least one of them, but we'll do all three. To create these scripts, we're going to need to understand the way the rooms are mapped, and we kind of saw that a little bit before in the attributes. But what we can do is go over to the developer tools page, and if I go into template, what I'll do is I'll just clear out the demo template, and I'm going to just really basic. We'll open and close a templates tag here, and I want to go to state underscore attribute, and I'll open and close brackets, and we'll go there and there. For the state attributes, to pull the state attributes, we need to select the device, so vacuum.murphy 2.0, and then we need to select the attribute that we want to read. So I'm going to select the attribute rooms, and you'll see there that with state attribute vacuum Murphy 2 and then rooms, we now have the result, which is a dictionary, and that dictionary has lounge is 0, corridor is 2, bedrooms are 10 and 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just open a new tab here in my settings, and I'll go over to settings here and to automations and scenes, and I'm going to go into scripts. Now at the moment I have no scripts here. I'm going to add a script. I'm going to call this vacuum and clean hallway. I'm going to call it hallway, even though in the DeeBot it's called a corridor. Give this script an icon of I'll try a hallway, gives me an image frame, and I like that image frame for the hallway. And in the sequence, I'm just going to go call service, but I'm going to change this to edit in YAML. So if I go to examples and then commands, we can go to clean only certain rooms. So if I grab this code block here, head back over to my scripts, and I can paste that in here. Now, obviously we need to change some data here. We're going to need to change your robot name to vacuum. So vacuum.murphy 2.0. And the command is spot area, and we can select rooms 14 and 10 at the moment. But if I go back to developer tools, I just want the corridor. So I need the room number of 2. So we've got room number 2 is our room. I can save that script, and if I click on the 3-dot stack in the top right hand corner and run the script,
Start area cleaning.
we get start area cleaning from the DeeBot. I'm just going to go back to my demo page here, and I'm going to tap the button that says dock to send it back to the dock.
Back to station.
So that script is working as we would expect. I head back to settings and then to automations and scenes, go back to scripts. I'll create a couple more scripts. I'll create
Start charging.
vacuum. Paste the YAML. We'll just check our bedroom rooms here. I'm pretty sure we're looking at a bedroom is room number 10 that we need here. So I will remove 14. And the other thing I might do with this is I'll change the number of cleanings to 2, and that's going to do 2 circuits around room number 10. So back over on our demo dashboard here, we can go to edit dashboard. We'll scroll down, we'll edit the card, we'll show our code editor, and we'll change our script here to vacuum clean hallway, and I'll go MDI image frame. Our service for the second shortcut will go script.vacuum main bathroom, and we went with MDI bathtub. And we'll also go for service number 3 was vacuum master bedroom. We'll go for a king bed. If I save that, okay, so because it's paused, it had to continue, but it's just refreshed. So now we have our image frame, which cleans the hallway. We've got our bathtub, which cleans the bathroom, and we've got our king bed, which cleans the master bedroom. So that is the EcoVacs DeeBot T10 Plus, both with the native app and in Home Assistant. There's definitely some pros and cons to this robot, so let's go through some of those now to help you make your decision to see whether it's worth your money. Let's start with some of the cons that we've noticed, and bear in mind, we've only had it a week. First up, the native app UI is hardly what I would call user-friendly, and it has a very 2-year look and feel to the design. The labeling in the native app is a little bit confusing, and it's not exactly intuitive to find what you're looking for, like the settings. The lack of a unified settings page for the single robot in the native app seems like a poor design choice, and a little bit like the different functions in the app were built by different development teams that didn't really collaborate particularly well with each other. The mapping UI is certainly far better than the Kogan, but it was extremely frustrating. The quick mapping function has a bit of a hard time getting a good version of the map, and while you can apparently move external walls, it's extremely challenging, if possible at all, to move or modify internal walls. There's also apparently a trick to carving up the map into rooms where you need to use short strokes with the cut tool and avoid using long strokes. Another frustrating shortcoming of the map in the native app is that you select from a predefined list of room names and can't freeform define them with things like lounge room, bathroom, hallway, etc. Another thing that was pretty frustrating is that the advertised onboard voice control AI just plain doesn't seem to work for us. We have had it triggered randomly by the TV, but when we're trying to actively summon it by saying, "Okay, Yiku," it doesn't recognize us. And lastly, for the cons, last night while I was preparing this script for this video, the robot had a malfunction with one of its main drive motors, causing it to spin in a circle and alert us that it had a problem. And it was begging us to check the drive wheels. Googling the fault revealed that this may not be an uncommon issue with these robots. There's even a video from their service team outlining some of the reasons that this happens, so I'm a little bit concerned about the longevity of the device, considering it happened within a week of us getting it. Now, this actually does lead me into the first of the pros. The EcoVacs customer service do have an Australian free call number. Now, hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. standard time and 9 to 9 during daylight savings, 7 days a week. The representative that I spoke to asked for me to gather video evidence of the issue occurring, and they would send me a follow-up email with details of how to upload the video to them and then what the next steps would be. That either they would cover the cost of shipping and repairs, or because it was only a week old, arrange for a replacement. Now, in attempting to capture the requested video, we did actually manage to get it working again by manually rotating the wheel and applying a little bit of pressure to try and dislodge any kind of debris or something in there. So it may have just had a little bit of debris stuck in the hub or the gear mechanism, which was then cleared by that little bit of manual intervention. Though again, I'm worried that this happened within a week of receiving the robot, especially because of how pricey this robot is. I will be monitoring that particular issue for any further issues, but for the moment, it seems to be working fine, and we've run it a few times since then. For more pros, though, the emptying station for charging and emptying the robot is actually pretty great. The 3.2 litre bag really kind of allows for potentially weeks of unattended scheduled cleaning, and those bags with their little slot that closes so that you don't get dust falling out all over the place is a nice addition as well. Those bags seem to be readily available from the EcoVacs Amazon store as well, as along with some of the other consumables like brushes, etc. The built-in camera that allows for the remote monitoring of your home and even the home patrol mode available in the native app is actually a really cool addition to be able to monitor things like your pets, or if an alarm goes off, and then send it off on a patrol to see what's going on there. The HACS Home Assistant integration is reasonably simple to set up too, but still reliant on a cloud connection. So there's a little bit of a pro and a con there as well. But for another pro, coming from the fact that it exposes more entities than what we saw with the Kogan through the 2-year integration, including being able to see the map as a camera entity, even though from what we saw, the exposed map back to Home Assistant is a little bit broken until you run through at least a full cleaning cycle. The Amazon Alexa integration works pretty well from our testing, and the oscillation of the mopping pad during mopping cycles on hard floors makes for a pretty good mopping result. The air freshener cartridge does leave a very subtle but pleasant odor after vacuuming, and it's definitely a lot quieter than the Kogan unit, even though it seems to do at least as good, if not a better, job of cleaning and suction. I can already tell that I'm going to enjoy making use of the Home Assistant HACS integration to control the robot as well. There seems to be a bunch of advanced commands to be able to be sent to the robot using that HACS integration to get and set various values on the robot for things like the speed, the volume control, and the amount of water being used during the mopping mode. And we could do that with an automation. What I do want to figure out is if I can trigger a patrol mode with an automation so that, say, when the home alarm goes off, we send the robot out to patrol the house a little bit. Now, at a price point of $1,099 on special, it's definitely pricey and might be a little bit hard to justify. But the AI features for object detection and avoidance, and from what I can tell, the firmware of the device are all under active development, meaning that the features will continue to get better over time. It's unclear what processor is in this robot, but to be able to do that object detection and avoidance in what I am assuming is close to real time, I have to assume that there's some pretty decent power behind that processor. So I would say that the value proposition is actually fairly reasonable, all things considered. I'm currently not game enough to crack it open to find out what the processor is. Again, we've only had it for a week, and I'm not ready to void the warranty on an $1,100 robot just yet, especially with the drive motor issue possibly becoming a problem. And so provided those drive motors continue to function without issue, I will continue to be really happy with the DeeBot, and I'm hoping that I don't have to re-engage with the support team for some time. All of that said, I have found a number of listings for parts on the internet, so past that warranty expiry, I suspect that there will still be reasonable support for this robot. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are about the DeeBot T10 Plus in the comments section down below. What do you think of Murphy Whiskey? All that's left to do now is to pit the two robot vacuums against each other in an all-out battle. I suspect, however, that that's how the AI apocalypse begins. That's all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your home automation journey. Be sure to drop a comment down below with home automation ideas that you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, now is a great time to change that. While you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when I release new videos each week. And lastly, if you like what I'm doing here, there's different ways to support the channel in the video description as well, including affiliate links to a bunch of the home automation gadgets that you can buy for your home while supporting the channel at the same time, or my Buy Me a Coffee link. Contributions that you make through Buy Me a Coffee get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Those affiliate links and the Buy Me a Coffee link are all on my website as well, www.hivemindautomation.com.au. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
I'm here.